Hey, parents. So, my name is Mitch. I'm the owner of Beginners Ed Sports Training, and I just came across a subject matter that has been coming up for 15 years. And it's a subject matter that there's no fantastic answer because there's so many different situations and stipulations that we need to kind of figure out. But the big question is always, what should I do as a parent should my child not be participating in class? That could go for an 18-month-old. That could go for a 10-year-old. It doesn't really matter what the age is. So here's the thing. In our program, Beginners Ed Sports Training, it's a training program. We pride ourselves on making sure that we are teaching the kids the sports and the skills of the sport. So if we have a very large class, sometimes we ask for parent facilitation, parent participation. There are two differences. Facilitation is just typically for the younger kids that need encouragement. And sometimes it's participation when they need actually a partner to do things, such as buddy passes and things like that. We try not to team up one player with the other player just because if one player is passing the ball or throwing the ball or kicking the ball, the other player might not be able to catch it, and then it's just a waste of time. So we try to buddy up the parents a lot with the kids for some activities in order to really make it worthwhile for them, so the parent could get it and then throw it back. Sorry, this is new for me, and my camera's like up there, and my screen is down here. So eventually, I'll figure that out. But so the question is, there are a couple of different types of kids that are going to be that you're going to ask this question about. What if I have a shy kid? My advice for the shy kid is for parents to continually encourage the child's participation. Don't force it. My child, when she was much younger, doing a program like this, she actually didn't participate for almost a whole session. And then she started, doing a lot of stuff. I actually had a young lady who was in my program when I was doing classes about 14 years ago. And I think she's 15 now. Yeah, it makes me old. Actually, she was 2 years old. She didn't do anything. She actually stayed in her mom's arms the whole session. And the last day of the last class, she actually got down in mom's arms and actually did everything better than all the other kids. It's still a running joke. I still see them. They're kind of my neighbors around the corner. And she's a nice young lady right now. So if your kid's shy, give them the time, give them the space, encourage them to participate. Our coaches should try to encourage them by calling their name. We're not going to spend a lot of time because obviously if they're shy, being overbearing and stuff like that doesn't really help. So if we start an activity, we may roll a ball over to them. We may, say, come on over here. May, call out their name. We may have another child, go over and say, hey, listen, go over and get little Johnny over there, ask him if he wants to go play. So we'll try a couple of things, but our coach is not going to spend a lot of time on that. And but they'll keep constantly throughout the class trying to, look over there and get their attention to bring them in. And eventually, kids, when they're coming into our classes, everything is new for them. So they're going to see like the lights, the colors on the walls, the grass, airplanes or a park or whatever. So everything's a big distraction for them. So they're going to want to really take the time to explore. Some, kids just like, hanging back and making sure that that they're comfortable. So let them explore that on their own time and don't rush it. I know you're saying, I paid all this money and my kid's not doing anything. But if you don't give them the opportunity to explore that, to do things on their own time, they're not you. They're not your age. They don't have your life experience. They're very young. So they need to actually understand how they need to do things on their own time frame. Sorry, my allergies are actually killing me too. So now, what do we do with the rambunctious children? Yes, I'm using a very kind word for an overactive child, rambunctious. These are kind of the buzzwords I ask my coaches to use. So there are kind of two things. If your child is that rambunctious child, step in. My coaches are not disciplinarians. They are there to run a class. They are there to orchestrate a class, to keep structure, to maintain structure, to offer structure. They're not there to be disciplinarians for the kids. But although if your child is disrupting the class to the point where they can't do the class, they will ask them to sit to the side. But we do ask you as parents that are there seeing this activity to jump in and do something about it. Because again, they're your child. You know them best, better than we do. But so you guys jumping in there, great. If you need to stand by their side to kind of focus their attention, feel free to do so. Don't worry. Not everybody is judging you. Yeah, some people will be. But you know what? Who cares? You know what? They're not you. They're not your child. Everybody's different. You love your child. Hang out with them. They'll, I'm sure, appreciate it, and they'll get more out of the class. If your child is to the point, rambunctious to the point of disruptive, and you can't get control, please don't stick it out in the class. Take them out of the class, figure out what's going on. Maybe they're not feeling well. Maybe they got a bad night's sleep. Maybe they didn't have their coffee in the morning like I do, like you can see in the background over there in our office. Oh, look at that. So, oh, look, the one-eyed wonder is over there too. Anyway, so take your kid out of the class, schedule a makeup class. You know what? I'm all for it. You know, don't feel that because you're just there and you're leaving the class that you can't do a makeup class. We're very lenient. You know, kids are kids, and we've been doing this for a very long time. Thousands and thousands and thousands of kids have gone through our program. So feel free to do so. Okay, what will our coaches do? Well, our coaches, again, will say, hey, Johnny, come on over here. Hey, Sarah, come on over here. Go stand on the spot. Hey, hey, you know, we shouldn't be doing that. Come on over. You know, blow a whistle. Hey, come on over. You know, hey, come back over here. And he'll try or she'll try to get them back in onto their spot. But again, do not think that our coaches have some magic wand and magic words that because what they're saying, they're going to listen. What we encourage our coaches to do is try to get them back into the activities if they're non-disruptive. If they're being disruptive, we might say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, can you know, just, and that's it. That's pretty much how fast I'm going to ask my coaches to do something. They're not there to stop the class. If we're at a stopping point, you know, maybe our coaches will go over and say, hey, listen, you know what, we really need you to, you know, have fun with us and play, but you need to follow my directions. Follow directions, you can have fun. If you're not going to follow directions, man, you're going to have to sit on the side, which is not fun. I can tell you, watching the kids and everybody else, all your friends and having fun, and you not participating, no bueno. So why don't you just, you know, can you do that? Give me a high five. Cool. And let's get back in there. If they're not having any of that, parent, you need to jump in and you need to do something no matter what the age. So I kind of talked about the rambunctious and defiant thing. So again, if your kid is rambunctious, if they're defiant, definitely jump in there and facilitate. And because you guys know your kids best, don't feel embarrassed. It's happened to probably every single parent there, and every single coach has, you know, goes through it. Let's say we have, you know, 4 to 10 kids in the class, and let's say 10 kids in a class, and we have 3 or 4 that are just not listening. Our instructors are encouraged to just focus on the kids that are following direction. So that means they're not going to stop what they're doing. So this video is actually created because of a comment that we received. My coach got 5 out of 5s, straight down, does a great job. But the comment was, I don't have it in front of me. Let me try to find it. It was move through the class a little faster. Don't focus on whether the kids are listening. The parent should intervene. I completely agree. There's a lot of wasted time corralling some 2-year-olds that aren't listening, and the kids that are listening are getting penalized because there's too much focus on the kids that aren't standing and coming back and listening to the directions. Completely agree. For a 2-year-old class, parents should be facilitating. There should be 1 parent per kid facilitating at all times. And the class needs to keep moving forward. So that is probably a rookie error from my coaches. And, you know, parents, I apologize, but, you know, this is a part-time job. We go through quite a bit of coaches throughout the year, whether it's in Arizona or California. And, you know, unfortunately, it is a part-time job. So this is not people's main source of income. So they come and go. We have fantastic coaches. We lose a lot of awesome coaches because of full-time jobs. They're moving out of state. They graduated college. Whatever the reason is, we very, very rarely get anybody leaving because they don't like the job. They absolutely love the job, but unfortunately, it only pays so much money, and there's only so many classes that we could get people during the week based on their availability and where we have classes. So it takes a while for coaches to really understand all of this. You can't teach them everything in a day, and it's very rare that you find we have some unbelievable coaches that you've experienced that are still with us, that just get everything, that understand kids, understand parents, understand psychology, understand sports. So what you guys want to do is facilitate in this way. If your kid is shy, jump in there. There should be always one parent. If your kid's under 4 years old, a parent should be ready to jump in, really and facilitate at any time. Stand next to them, stand behind their spot. If your kid is rambunctious, whatever, do the coach solid. Be the facilitator of discipline, or talk to the coach and say, hey, listen, my kid is not going to listen, but I am fully cool with you, being a little bit more firm with him. The coach is not going to step out of their comfort zone unless given permission. I mean, the parent, as a young coach, I'm not a young coach, but as many of the young coaches we have, they're scared of you guys. Rightfully so. They're just, typically you guys are just a few years older than they are, and you have a kid, and they know that you guys are flipping the bill for their pay, and they want to make sure that they're making you guys happy just as much as they're making you guys, the kids, happy. So they don't want to be scolding your children. They don't want to be looked as a bad guy. But if you are providing permission and to be a little bit firmer, I'm sure my coaches could step that up. But again, we're not here to be disciplinarians. We'll be a little bit firmer, but not disciplinarians. So I hope this answers your question. I am actually going to post this on our Facebook page. I'm going to post this on our Instagram. I'm going to post it on our coach page. So if anybody has any questions based on this, feel free to comment below. We're going to have a YouTube live stream. I don't know where I see all those videos, subscribe now and things like that. But as feedback comes in, I'm going to do these videos. And welcome to Best. If you've been a long time customer of Best, check out our loyalty program. You could save $25, $50, $75 for being a loyal customer. Summer camps coming up, and my gosh, there's unbelievable. If you do 10 individual weeks, it's going to cost you $1,000 more if you just buy a 10-week block. So just the more weeks you sign up for, the more money you save. So anyway, thank you for joining Beginners at Sport Training, listening to this video. I know it's a long one, but have the best day, and I'll talk to you soon.